Scales of Music podcast. Like, this guy's been around for a long time.
Put Nickelback on the list. Put them on the list.
He is amazing. So yes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Scales of Music podcast, and today we are in for a treat. It is I, Michael Alvis. We're joined with my buddy Zach Tinsley. Zach, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Like I said, I was telling you before, I've shifted my room around. It's a little cleaner, but now I'm in a cave. So, you know, we're doing all right. I got my record player finally set up for the first time in 3 years. So, just been was playing some Bob Marley for my 3-month-old, and I think he's already on the right track. You know what I mean?
So proud of you. You're teaching them well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined with our first official artist guest to the show. We are joined by two gentlemen of the local band here in Indiana, here in Terre Haute, Indiana, Stereobella. We're joined by my good buddy, Tyler Kemmerer, and Marcus Rogers. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, doing well, man. Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be doing this with you guys.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you for coming on to the show. I'm actually absolutely thrilled to have you guys here. Love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And I think you guys got something big going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, my friend.
Thanks for being on the
Appreciate
show.
that. Well, thank you once again for having us. We're really excited about what we got going on right now. We've known each other for a long time, so now it's been a while, but we're getting back to it post-COVID and everything, and getting back to it, getting quite a few shows booked and working on some new music. So we're really excited about all of it.
We're thinking about getting a dog together, and yeah, big things.
I've got enough of those, man.
Just make sure you split the vet bill. We know those can be a pain. All right, so guys, what brought about Stereobella? Mark, what input you got on that? What was kind of the light to forming this amazing band that you guys have going on here?
Well, I met Tyler in college, I don't know, probably 10, 11 years ago, back in Indiana State, and we had a similar. Go Sycamores. Yeah, go trees. Yeah,
go trees.
So we had a similar friend group. We hung out a lot. Started to realize we like a lot of the same kind of music. Tyler was in the recording. I was in recording. A lot of similarities there. You know, we became pretty good friends through, just going to sports games, things like that. But I think it was like, 2013 or 2014, 13, 14, somewhere around there. We started playing in a band that was kind of just like a 3-piece band, me and him, with my brother on drums. And we're doing kind of a similar thing what we're doing now. We're just doing a lot of like 90s rock, early 2000s rock and stuff, and that kind of fizzled out after a while. I got pretty caught up into my studio work, and Tyler relocated to Indianapolis, and of course we're friends, always been friends, so we're always talking and stuff. And just a couple years ago, we decided, hey, I think it's time let's get the band back together and go from there. So it's kind of a similar project. I think we've grown quite a bit as musicians. Away from each other at that point, and we've taken what we've learned in the last 5-6 years not playing and brought it back to what we're doing now, and I think it's really helped. I think we've learned quite a bit as ourselves, what we do best, working together and individually, and we got the group together, and you got anything you want to add to that?
So I've got a story if you want me to. I've actually got a story about how this happened for me. So it's funny. I've been doing music for a long time. I did, played with some guys in high school, had a really good time with some of my best friends in high school. And then, Michael, as you know, I did a little bit of, when I was in college, I experimented a little bit with a little bit of hip-hop stuff, and enjoyed it.
Which you're excellent at.
Thank you so much. It could be making a comeback soon, I think. But
ooh, my family would be happy. They're probably some of your biggest fans.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, but I was really, really just getting the itch to play live music again, and I did an acoustic show up at Big Woods Brewery up in Speedway. Sorry for the free promotion for some reason.
Plug!
But yeah, did a show up there and really got the itch to play live music again, and then it just so happens, like Mark said, we've stayed friends this whole time, but he sent me this instrumental he was working on. It was kind of like a kind of a faster, aggressive, like a pop punk type feeling. I really, really enjoy this. And the next few days, just on my way to work, I'd be playing that demo over and over and trying to just sing out a vocal melody.
Yeah.
And just a couple of weeks, I was down in the studio with him, and we were knocking out the demos to My Reality, which ended up becoming our first single. And man, it's kind of just taken off from there. We've hit a couple of bumps along the way, as the rest of the world did there in 2020. But we're really starting to pick up and really getting a good catalog of songs to play out live, as well as starting to get the pieces together for some new original music. But
Awesome,
man, like I said, just that demo in general, just really like it just. I know you're a musician. And I know you've had
like
these
a
where they
religious
just,
experience, right?
Like hit you in the chest, and like, okay, this is something we got to get this figured out. So that's actually what got us back together. For me, is I was like, yep, this is good enough. I can drive to Terre Haute every week.
What I'm hearing is that we might get a little like Mike Shinoda thing going on, like a little Stereobella at some point, right?
Big Lincoln Park people over here too. We just actually rehearsed what I've done for a show this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That would be, from what I've listened to of you guys, that would be if you have that in your wheelhouse, sort of that hip hop infusion, that could sound really cool with what you have. Specifically with, like I said, I listened to 2 of your songs that Mike sent me, and they're really good. I was like, wow, this is like really hitting me in that early 2000s, like you said. You really kind of have nailed that on the head. So I think that would be really sweet if you did that.
Yeah. In our, speaking of Lincoln Park, I mean, I think our new single, it's being mastered right now. We're waiting for that to come back our way from the mastering studio, but it's got a little bit of, I think, a Lincoln Park vibe, but pop punk still. And Tyler really hit there's a good part of Tyler's voice where every part of his voice sounds good, but there's this one part in the song that's very very similar to Chester Bennington, and I've always noticed that in his voice. He's got similar qualities, and he really brings it out in this song, and it fits. It's not like a new metal song or anything like that. It's very pop punk. It's very fresh sounding.
Call it Blinkin' Park.
It's kind of like Blinkin' Park. Yeah, Blinkin' Park. Yeah. So we find those traits in if it's his voice, the guitar playing, the drumming, the bass playing, we'll find things that we can. We're not so pigeonholed just to pop punk. Obviously, that's the genre we've decided to go with, and thankfully it's coming back. We planned it that way, Yeah, it's weird. We started that band just a little over a couple years ago, and then Machine Gun Kelly comes out with a pop punk album. Now everybody's pop punk, and it's like it's on the radio again. You got all these new artists. It's you're starting to hear it creep in the top 40 again. And it's really cool. It's refreshing, and they're doing that little small festival over in was that in California?
No, Vegas.
Or Vegas. It was over in Vegas. Yeah, with a few known bands in it. Like 80 of them, and it's music of the 2000s and stuff. All that rock music's coming back, and it's cool because I don't think we saw that coming. We just wanted to do something that we liked, and now like people are like, oh man, that's fresh, and it's like, no, it's really just old, but it's fresh to some of these younger kids. Like we get comments all the time on Instagram and Facebook, and these are probably like 18, 19-year-old kids, and they're just like, man, that's so cool. It sounds great. And, we're like, oh, yeah, we're hip. In my mind, we're playing like grandpa music, but now it's like it's acceptable. So whatever,
Yeah, but there's this like influx of new artists right now that are kind of taking the hip hop model, kind of, I feel like, of self-produced and self-promoted, and people like Brown Bear's doing a lot of great stuff, and like
Black Bear.
Yeah, no, Brown Bear's actually one of our Xbox friends. Black Bear, excuse me. I'm not that musically illiterate, people. I'm so sorry. Black Bear's doing some really cool stuff, and like Youngblood's great, and there's so many like fresh new artists kind of contributing to that new sound that's kind of taken.
Mod Son's doing pop punk.
Honestly, I can only imagine what kind of weird stuff people are going to be Googling now when they look up Brown Bear. So, just saying.
Whatever floats your particular boat,
talking
folks,
about?
you look up
You
on
know.
Google. Just don't share your history with me.
But you are like it's funny that you say that because you're right. It's crazy to me how my younger brother is actually almost 14 years younger than me, and so it's crazy when I will say, "Hey, yeah, this is like a rock song that I listened to when I was your age," and it was like, "Oh wow." That was basically almost the same distance away from when my dad was like, "Hey, son, listen to Boston." So, like, it's interesting because that was what I was going to ask you guys was to really talk a little bit about your influences and like what you're going for, because again, when I listened to that, I was like, man, I'm really hearing a lot of that, like, and don't hate me if you like hate this band because some people do, but I was like, man, it really remind me of that kind of like, I don't know, Breaking Benjamin, like Hoobastank era where like everything was still, two guitars, a bass and a drum, but had that sort of like not kind of angsty, but also like fun and upbeat, very similar to maybe kind of what Newfound Glory was doing a little later, Brand New. Those kind of bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I heard what you had, I was like, wow, yeah, that's like, that seems to be coming back because here recently we have all these great bands that for whatever reason, they just want to copy the Coldplay model that is make everything reverb and it's like we're just singing in a hallway. So, and it's driving me crazy.
Rock and roll kind of lost its balls, for lack of better words.
Yeah, man, it's
and the bottom end just fell out. Yeah,
Rock and country both just flipped. It feels like.
Yeah. That's a good point there. Yeah, with country.
So like I guess obviously you're influenced by your age, like what you grew up with and stuff. But like, what's kind of the drive? I guess not necessarily your influences, but talk about that for a second. But what's like your driving, like the thing that drives you? What do you want to be really? And that's kind of what I want to know.
I can kick it off here. I don't know honestly that there's this real long term, like here's where we want to be playing this venue in 5 years. We've got some goals, like there's been some talks with a couple of some rudimentary talks with a couple of venues to maybe do some opening shows around here, and that's in its very early stages, so I won't go too far into detail there, but honestly, man, we're just having a lot of fun. It's so much fun to get together with all these guys. Marc's one of my great friends, and his brother John in the band, and his wife Emily plays bass for us, and they're all such great friends of mine. So I know it kind of sounds like a cheap answer, but man, we're just having such a good time. So to go out and have fun and, maybe touch some people with some of our music in any way possible, and just have some fun at shows, get some people out to shows again. I know we all miss live music so bad over the last couple of years. So to see people start to come out again, the further and further we get away from where we were at in 2020, I feel like it's just to have a lot of fun, connect with people, out live. I've lost my words for some reason, but Mark, I think you got what I was saying.
For clarification, was the question about influences on our music?
Yeah, no,
okay.
I mean, that's a good answer. It's probably so I was more or less saying like,
just cut that. We'll fix it in
you're
post.
saying.
No, you're good. Yeah.
We'll fix it in post.
There's got to be one person listening who's as dumb as me and as inactive of a listener that they had to be on the same page that I was.
Well, no, it's good because
I'm doing this for you, buddy.
You're obviously very passionate about it, which is awesome. But I guess more or less what I meant was, who your influence is, but like as a band, what are you trying to be? Like you're not trying to, like Greta Van Fleet pretends like they're not Led Zeppelin. Like what? Not necessarily who you're trying to emulate, but who are your influences and what do you want to be like as a band? The type of music that you produce.
You're not necessarily trying to be a reference track, I guess.
Yeah.
So wait, here I'll answer the question, Tyler.
I'm gonna go get a beer or something. I don't know.
So, for me individually, my background's really rooted in that kind of music we've been talking about. I grew up in the scene here in Terre Haute playing. punk, pop punk, hard rock, some hardcore type music. So, my influences are pretty broad. I'm was a big Taking Back Sunday fan as a younger guy. Got into brand new. Really loved that Chicago scene with Victory Records and the music that was coming down here. Seeing all those bands played around the Midwest through high school was a big influence on me. Hawthorne Heights and groups like that. And I also kind of stretch into, to the heavier music and stuff like Norma Jean, Silverstein, and things like that. So, my influences are pretty broad, far as that kind of music goes. I mean, I'm a big He Is Legends fan. I grew up obviously a big Blink fan. Sum 41. I love the pop punk.
The biggest Blink fan. Let me cut in there.
Yeah,
the biggest Blink fan.
I'm lifelong Tom DeLonge fan.
The biggest Blink fan.
But anyways, my influences are pretty broad there. But I also had a background in because of my father being a professional musician for better part of 2 decades in Nashville as a country musician. I also had that background too. So, far as my playing and things like that, I have a little bit of influence on a lot of different genres. I've played professionally as a country musician. I've played professionally just as a pop musician, rock musician. So, there's a lot of different things that I have learned in production, doing those type of music, even performing it, learning it, and touring with it, that I have. It just kind of influences everything you do. I mean, you're always thinking in the back of your mind of a song that maybe has nothing to do with what we're doing right now, maybe not even the same genre, but it helps. It helps us in the studio, helps us with songwriting, crafting, and whatnot. So, and I think as a band, to kind of round it out, I think our big thing is we obviously, we're rooted in pop punk. We like up tempo stuff. We like the heavy guitars. You mentioned like Hoobastank. Bands like that where it was just 2 guitars, bass, not a whole lot of production and things like that, as far as like strings and things like that. We like that. The first few things we did was pretty much calls back to that, and it's kind of stuff you guys have been hearing. I think as we progress, though, I think we'll start bringing in some of these elements with some of these newer artists that we've been talking about. Mod Sun, Machine Gun Kelly, Youngblood. These guys have
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, they have that influence. And, we have probably a pretty similar background to a lot of those guys. They're all pretty much around our age, and they're taking a little bit of that West Coast sound and putting it into pop punk, and they're being very successful with it. And, I think, with Tyler's abilities as a vocalist, if you've followed Tyler throughout the years, you can hear this guy throw down, you can hear him throw down a track that's very similar to an Eminem track. And then you can hear him belt out vocals like Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. He's a very diverse singer, and that really helps in the studio too, because there's a lot of things we can cover. There's a lot of ground. And I think having a vocalist that was kind of bred for this kind of music that's been coming out is kind of an influence that we're going to steer towards. You'll hear it a little bit in the new track that's going to be coming out, our new single. And probably going forward, you'll even hear more of those elements come together. And we're just going to keep progressing as a band and just do the things we like. We're not on a label. We're not trying to get famous or anything like that. We're just trying to have a good time as a band. And, we're grown adults. We're not kids, so, we got other things in our lives, obviously. But this is a good relief and release for us to get creative and, have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, and at the same time is not necessarily looking to, get big or any of that stuff. Of course, we want, everything we do, we want as many people to, come out and see us and hang out with us as we possibly can, because that's just more fun for us. That's more fun for everybody there. I mean, like our original music, I know we want to connect with as many people as possible. But man, we're really just exploring some social media avenues with that stuff. And that's a really helpful thing in music right now, just being able to, we're not on a label. We're not, we don't have distribution. We don't have somebody doing merch for us. We're doing all this stuff ourselves. And it's kind of punk rock in a not super punk rock way because all of the technology now, but it's still a real, like a DIY thing. And that's still, I think, where you're getting so much heart in music is a lot of those DIY guys coming up, those self-produced, for lack of a better term, some SoundCloud artists, which comes with some positive and negative connotations, obviously, but like it or not, they're doing their own thing, and they're expanding genres and they're making a lot of money doing it. So, just getting our stuff out there and seeing what happens and seeing where it goes. I think we're just along for the ride and really excited to see what happens.
And one big influence too is there's an artist called Nothing Nowhere, and
That's the name I was trying to come up with.
yeah,
when I screwed up the first one.
and if you follow that guy a little bit, you kind of, I mean, he's his success is really growing, but he was DIY. I mean, the first part of his career, I mean, I think he started off on SoundCloud like a lot of these guys. He's a little bit more in the hip hop realm, and then now he's expanded into the pop punk scene and bring more of a full band sound to his production. But there's a guy right there that's really influential in what we're doing right now. I've been following him for a few years, and it's fun to see guys, just normal dudes like that, making their own merch, selling their own merch, and having the success they have, and then you see them get the help down the road that they deserve, and not that we're chasing that, but it is a good influence to see how those artists have crafted their sound, and just to see how they crafted their image and just their branding and whatnot, So, when you're a 17-year-old kid in high school, I wasn't thinking about branding. I was like, oh, let's get a cool T-shirt. It looks like a bunch of paint was spilled on it with, with a band name on it. Be like, put it down the side, Scene, every photo up here, when you, now as an adult, we're kind of like reading into that stuff a little bit more. Like, oh, there's a reason why they're doing that. Yeah, we get it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Oh man. So I was gonna say this earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt. Your bassist, what's her name again?
Emily Rogers.
She is nasty.
Yeah, she's sick.
Yeah.
Send her my kudos. Like seriously, not only is the bass that she played amazing looking, it sounds great. That's probably one of the first things that I really noticed, and like it was like my ear just hooked right to it, and I'm just like, this girl knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
and we've been able. She's got a couple 5 strings, so we're really able to get a lot of that low end out live that you're not getting on a 4 string.
She's very diverse in what she does. And
And if anybody comes and sees us out live, Emily actually will hop on and sing a couple songs as well. Sing lead for a few songs, some Paramore stuff and some Avril Lavigne stuff. And
I was getting ready to say Paramore.
Yeah,
that's
No
like
Doubt.
no doubt. Yeah, good one.
like a staple. I know when I went and saw Group Love, their female. Man, what is she? She didn't play the drums for them, but she got out and that she has like 2 or 3 songs. It's really cool when a band like that will switch it up, because I mean the thing about pop punk, as we all know, is at times things can seem repetitive. So like what I love about what you're saying is you have the vocals to change it up to sound in multiple different ways, but you also have many different band members that can make every song that you do incredibly diverse in a genre that at times is not super diverse.
Yeah,
very fair.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's true.
The 4-chord rock is kind of the
I mean, listen, I love Blink
stereotype.
182 as well, but sometimes you get like 20 songs in and you're like, wait, oh, okay, yeah, different song.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of probably when it all got like to the biggest part. Like the mid 2000s with that music. You had Blink, Motion City Soundtrack. You had all these bands hitting, MTV and Fuse and all these. Their Warped Tour was like the biggest it was, and then it was weird and everything kind of fell off. Like the late 2000s, like 2009, 2010. It seems like I don't know. You know how it is. Everything shifts after every decade, and I think that was kind of. And the unfortunate thing about those guys is so much talent. And they were putting out all these great songs, and then, the times kind of left them behind. And that was kind of a weird part of the music industry where you were going to see these bands you more or less idolized. You thought they were these big rock stars, but they weren't making the money like Led Zeppelin made. Yep. Or even bands in the 80s like Motley Crue, or even in the 90s, like Red Hot Chili Peppers. These bands in the 2000s, they weren't making that kind of money. They had a lot of these guys had some pretty crummy deals with their labels. They're doing 360 deals where they're losing publishing and we're getting merch. And so you got guys in these bands that you've considered huge, and then you're seeing them that they're still in real estate on LinkedIn. And true story. I've seen some guys on there. I'm like, oh my God, that dude was the drummer for so and so. He's popping up on LinkedIn. He's selling houses. You know what I mean? Like they're doing day jobs. They're not millionaires. So, it's fun to see it come back, see some of these bands get to play some of these big shows again, and get some of the recognition I think they deserve. You know, they're never probably ever gonna. Some of these older bands are probably never gonna be multimillionaires. You know, driving big cars and stuff like that, and living like guys in the 70s and 80s, and but at least they're getting the recognition they deserve. And these newer artists are helping with that, and it's fun to see that, and how long it rides out, we'll see. Music it changes so often, and what's cool yesterday is not nearly as cool as, the next day. So that's or wherever the kids are doing these days.
Yeah, but hopefully
TikTok, right?
But hopefully we can take all of that and kind of, package what we do best and, move forward that way. And, maybe take a little influence from what's popular, but also, that gives me a little confidence to kind of go our own way as well. Watching these guys all go their own way and do their own thing that works for them, makes you realize, man, you don't have to do, the same exact thing over and over.
No.
People will listen to you if you are different.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, at least me personally, I think that'll probably be the direction writing takes a little bit. Probably trying to take what we do best and then maybe just add a couple new twists here and there and make it fun.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be held down to just being a pop punk band. I mean, that's kind of what we were classified as, but.
And it's great for live show marketing. Just throw a pop punk night on there.
Yeah, pop punk night. But we're our live show. Obviously, we're doing a lot of covers and stuff. We're trying to kind of be almost more or less a tribute act to some of the best music, in the '90s, late '90s, early 2000s. We're covering a lot of ground. Obviously, we got the pop punk flair to what we do, just because that's just what we are as a band. But I mean, I think it's a fun set. We're to get back on the band. We got a solid drummer. It's my brother, John.
More than solid. That's a brotherly put down. John is a
he's a
top-notch drummer. I've seen a lot of drummers, and John Rogers, my friend, is a
he's
great,
about as
not good
professional
drummer.
as you get as a drummer, and he's a phenomenal musician all around. He brings a lot to the table, not just his drumming, which is fabulous, but he's a songwriter himself. He's a guitarist. He's a bassist. He's got a lot of skill. And then, of course, Emily brings a really cool, fun element live and in the studio, too. And, it helps us, just like you guys were saying, this kind of helps you cover more ground where it's not so monotonous, and it helps with the original music, too. They have a bunch of different influences from each individual in the group and bring it to the studio.
Yeah, your group is very, very dynamic, to say the least. Just the more and more I listen to, I'm hearing influences on each instrument from who's playing it. I'm hearing there's so much going within the mix, not only there, but also how you guys are individually playing these instruments. It's encapsulated. It draws me in every time I listen to it. Not only is the grittiness of Tyler's vocals and just feeling it, kind of pulling you in. You feel the pain and emotion in that, but you feel in every other instrument that plays. That's probably one of my biggest things that I love about you guys is that you guys just reflect emotion in your music, like how we grew up watching the pop punk stuff. I mean, not watching, listening, and it's just it feels like actual music to me, not somebody just threw together for one little thing. It feels like the heart's been put into it.
First off, thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
Very kind of you, especially coming. I respect you so much as a producer and a musician. I've heard so much of your stuff, and I check out your podcast. So appreciate that. Appreciate both of you guys. Thank you for that. But you're talking about vocal emotion. Marc's talking about our influences, and this has kind of really been a fun time for me because I kind of miss the whole pop punk and My Chemical Romance. I was actually more. I started playing the guitar in my early teen years, and to me at the time, 14, 15 years old, Nirvana was the only band, and Foo Fighters, and Green. I was listening to more '90s alternative and maybe some punk in there, but kind of getting with these guys, I'm starting to get to go back and listen to some of the stuff I missed when I was a closed-minded youth, I guess, and so really starting to discover. Obviously, I know all these hits, but really starting to discover some of the musicianship and how strong some of that songwriting is, and you're getting, it's pop punk, and we focus so much on the punk, but man, there's so much great pop music in these songs. Like there's some of these pop songs or some of these pop punk songs are, if I got to pick it's a Bruno Mars sang this song and be one of the biggest pop songs in the world. We've got, obviously not the same vocal talent as Bruno Mars because he's kind of in a league of his own right now as far as solo recording artist goes. But
Yeah.
Bruno's very cool.
but man, I've gotten such a bigger appreciation for pop music though in my late years, and I don't know if that's just growing up or kind of appreciating music more. But
I think it's time Bruno does a pop punk album.
yeah, I'd love to hear some
Bruno.
Bruno. At least a track, maybe.
Why not?
I did really enjoy his latest project there, though. I thought that was really great. I don't know why this turned into Bruno Mars podcast, but you guys were talking about him last
Why
week.
not, man? That Silk Sonic's been
24
playing
Karat Magic, man.
for
Why
me
not?
a lot.
Yeah, Silk
I mean,
Sonic's
basically
nice.
what you're saying here, what I'm hearing is that I need a cover version of "In the Pines" by you guys.
There you go. Hey, well, that might be a reality.
If we'll release it if it sounds good, and if not, we'll pretend we never did it.
We'll just send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, just me, like
It'll be a private
a
SoundCloud link.
podcast exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I listen to you guys talk, the more I realize like how far ahead Frank Zappa really was. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Usually, talking to me makes you appreciate a lot of other really talented musicians a lot more. So.
And, speaking of Frank Zappa,
I just mean like
mean-
in terms of everything that you've said is very similar to kind of like how he was. Like I don't really
Oh, yeah.
care. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go play.
Yep.
I'm not gonna get tied down by all this stuff. I feel like I feel like
Yeah.
if you guys are a cover band, if you're not covering Joe's Garage, I don't know what you're doing at this point. With everything you've been saying. So
yeah.
So-
I know what you're saying though. I mean about Zappa, and man, it's great that we've had people in the music world like that, like Frank Zappa, and you got to really respect people like that. And there's a guy there that knew more music than probably anybody at his time. World-class musician. You know what I mean? And
my man's like, I have a #1 album, and I'm gonna make an orchestra
yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't
because
care.
why not? Because I want to and I can.
yeah,
because I'm Frank Zappa.
and it's like the dude's like biggest
Exactly.
hit was Valley Girls or something, with his daughter making fun of Valley Girls, and like
Which was
yeah,
which was literally just an FU to chart toppers, and
really,
it chart topped.
and the song charted higher than anything he put out, and it was just absolutely just him taking the fucking taking the piss out
You're
of
good.
music, and just top 40 music. I don't know if we can cuss on this or
This
not.
is the longest we've
Yeah,
gone
you're
good.
without
So-
dropping an expletive. I think this is impressive.
Hey, yeah, man. So it's all we're punk rockers, so it comes out every once in a while. So,
Yeah, roll, dude.
yeah. So, anyways,
Kidding.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Well, I mean, you said that you do a lot of covers and stuff. So, like, what's your go-to? Like, what's your favorite thing to go play if it's not your own stuff?
Like far as performing, or just like when we're chilling, or
just when
something?
you perform.
Performing. Oh man, I don't know. Just about all of it, man. I mean, we cover so much ground in our show. Like, I don't think we do one song that I would say I hate. I mean, I really enjoy doing like the Bowling for Soup stuff that we do because they had so many funny songs, So, but we do we do some Blink. We do obviously Green Day. Love playing Green Day stuff. Weezer. Weezer's probably one of, I think between me and Tyler, it's one of our favorite bands that we share for sure.
A couple of Foo Fighters songs in there, which
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't like at least a couple of Foo Fighters songs. But,
Yeah.
so we got a lot of that 90s stuff, but then we're doing, not to spoil the whole set, we do have some more modern stuff in there. We do have an MGK song in there that we do off his last album.
Yeah.
Shoot, we've got another pretty recent one too, don't we? Or did I make that up?
I mean, we're doing the TikTok one. What's it called?
Oh yeah, that's not a recent one, but Teenagers by My Chemical Romance is huge on TikTok right now.
Yeah,
we actually just worked
this
that
is a
one
newer
up. and I'm
artist.
at-
Emily sings it. Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh yeah.
What's the song we do? Why?
Good for you, Olivia
Good for you.
Rodrigo.
Good for Which is just it just sounds like a Paramore song, but it goes over great
Yeah.
live.
from what I heard, that they actually wrote that for her, but she's not paying them for it or giving them credit.
You know, I read up
there's this
on
rumor
that.
going around that's. I'm like, it sounded very Paramore. Like when I heard it, I was like,
Yeah.
why is this not Haley?
And I think what happened is she wrote that song kind of last minute. I kind of read up on this. Call me a nerd, but I guess she wrote that song pretty much last minute with her record. I think her record was pretty much done, and then like she just had this idea to write this song that was very Paramore sounding. Turned out that way, and then they put the song out, and I think somebody in Paramore's camp was like, "Hold on a second, there's some money to be made." And I think they actually, if you look up now, I'm pretty sure they gave.
I think at least
I think Haley Williams and I think
credit.
Zach Faro or which one was the guitarist that wrote the song with her. I think they both have writing credits now. So rightfully
Awesome.
so, you know.
No, but like, yeah,
Awesome,
start trying to
awesome.
mix some of that stuff. I know, like, everybody talks about TikTok and TikToks for kids and all that stuff, but man, look what blows up. And if it blows up, it probably happened on TikTok. So there's that song, that Olivia Rodrigo song was huge on TikTok. And like I said,
the fact that Teenagers has even any play at all is,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting for Vampire Money to pop up now.
Yeah.
or like, what was, there's like Arctic Monkey. We're not playing Arctic Monkeys, but like Arctic Monkeys are big on. There's a couple Arctic Monkey songs that are huge on TikTok. Like, and that's, predominantly younger people. So I don't know who's listening to, 505 from Favorite Worst Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
But apparently
yeah.
a lot of kids.
The best part about TikTok is like my wife has been on there for 4 or 5 years. I just thought it was some stupid thing, and
Next, you're gonna tell me that like Vaseline is like the,
Yeah.
the new thing.
well, I mean, she's
I
saying,
try to put petroleum
she's like
all over myself as much as possible.
And I'm sitting there, and she's like watching these TikToks, and it's like that How Bizarre song just keeps. It's like every 5 seconds, How bizarre, and I'm just like, I'm about to bizarre the phone into another room, and I'm like,
Dude,
what?
I had to give it up because like every video would be like the same like little 2-second clip, and I'm like maybe it's because I'm in my 30s, but I'm delete, and I cannot delete quick enough.
Well, and here's the thing. So, like, I make fun of her, like, it's a kid's app, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I read some, I like to read on the music industry every once in a while. And so then this article came, it was emailed to me, some blog I'm subscribed to, and it's like, why does TikTok matter? I'm like, because it doesn't. So then I read the article, and I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, oh my God, all this success these people are having through TikTok, and like people that haven't been relevant for decades having all this success and re-entering the charts and all this crap. And it's like Fleetwood Mac's like the top band on iTunes all of a sudden. I'm just like, what in the world? And then I was like,
Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunn was like number 2. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah. Internet's really getting far out there now. I mean, even the people, the country people are starting to get internet. So, no, I'm sorry, that's not funny.
That's
not funny, is it? Anyways, so TikTok
Depends on what country, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, TikTok's just like everyone's getting all this money off TikTok and crap, and I'm just like, well, maybe TikTok's not as stupid as I thought. So, hey, follow us on TikTok at Stereobella. We're on there. We are. It's very boomerish for 30-year-old people, but we do the best we can.
I just post pictures of me asking kids to get off of my property. So.
And it's always like, hello, boys and girls. So we'll try anything once, and we're on TikTok.
That's the reason why I don't have one, because I feel like the only thing I could do is like I could do something where I'm like millennial guesses Gen Z stuff and gets all confused and sweats like that.
Hey, before any of our big country music fan gets out, we this is not an anti-country music guy.
No, I produced it, and
I love country.
And if you guys
I played
talk
crap
about,
out
I'm
of
going to
yours.
brag on you guys for a minute now. Talk about a talented group of people I play with here. So they not only do the Stereobella stuff with me, and we got our own music. As Marc mentioned before, his dad, Marc Rogers Sr., is a professional musician, and they are a great like 80s, 90s country, classic rock,
A lot of
all
chicken
that
picking.
stuff. Yeah, great. I mean, you want to talk about a wonderful guitar
Hello.
player. Not that my good friend Mark Rogers Jr. isn't great, but whew.
Yeah.
Mark Rogers Sr. is a professional for a reason. So if you guys get a chance to go see Mark Rogers Band, all you country fans, they'll be. I know you guys are at. I don't know when this is dropping, but you guys got some dates up on social media. You go check those out. We both do, but it's the three of them minus me plus their dad, and they are phenomenal, man. It's such a good band.
We go by
Well, like
Stereo
the-
Country.
That that Americana movement is definitely, like you're talking about, kind of bring it back around to, the punk pop stuff. Like Americana is basically what country is, right?
Yep.
So like the Sturgill Simpsons,
Love
the
Sturgill.
Culture Walls, the Jamie Johnsons.
Big Jason Isbell guy
Margot
myself,
Price,
too, but-
those people, right?
Childers
Jason
is great.
Isbell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason Isbell is part of it.
Oh, yeah.
People who make real country. You know, I joke around about how like Morgan Wallen like wants to be that, but he's just not. So I see what you're saying, but yeah, I mean, it does seem to me like sort of the old style music, like good, solid, like they call it Americana now, but then like you're talking about, punk pop. It's like people have a desire for that, like where you can hear and feel the strings and the beats and and rather than it just coming from and there's nothing wrong with like creating or producing something with a piano or a synth or whatever. Obviously there's a place for that, but it's just been so long, I think, since we've had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear it in popular music again. It's just I was telling somebody the other day, it's just so nice to hear, guitars forward in the mix on popular music again. It's crazy. I feel like you just didn't have that forever.
Yeah.
Even popular country songs are,
Well,
we're starting to get rooted in more, like hip hop inspired drums and 808s.
Bruno
and,
Mars and Anderson .Paak just made a James Brown record, essentially. I mean, yeah.
and
That was all like they went back to Motown straight with that album, and
It was
just
fresh. It was fresh to hear something like that and not hear what was going on at the time. He came out with, what was it, 24 Karat Magic, and I was like, oh man, if the rest of the album's like that song, then we're in for a good album. But the thing with country music, I've produced it the last probably last decade, and I've had some success as a producer with regional artists and stuff, and there's a few songs that I've seen, get into the million range with streams and stuff. With stuff I've on my own studio, and I enjoyed having the opportunity to work on that stuff. But then after you work on it for so long, and you keep making all these 808 beats and all these drum beats with trash can hi hats and the bro country boom, drum beat, every song.
the good FGL.
You get a little worn out on it. You really do, and I respect it. There's an art to it. There's some great songwriters in Nashville. I've met a few of them.
and those guys make all the money
They're
they do
talented.
for a
They're
reason,
talented guys. The producers down there, obviously, they know what they're doing. They're making money. They're making hits. And the artists, whatever. I mean, some of the artists are talented guys. Some of them, they're getting good songs pitched to them, and they can tune their guitar a little bit. So you got a few guys down there that are respectful, I think. But then you got the guys like Jason Isbell and
Chris Stapleton. I don't know how we miss Chris Stapleton.
Chris
'cause he's like the
Stapleton.
megastar of the genre. I feel like.
And then you got guys like that, man. It's a breath of fresh air to hear their records. It may not get any, or even like Casey Musgraves and people like that.
Oh, yeah.
They'll never
Yeah.
get the radio
She's got a lot of
airplay.
talent.
They won't get the FGL radio airplay. 80 weeks at #1 or whatever. But you're seeing. I mean, Casey Musgraves has won like 5 Grammys.
Yep.
And she's never had a top 10 hit on country radio.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like good. She don't need the radio. I mean,
Well, I mean,
I
I tell you, the first time I ever listened to Sailor's Guide, I was like, I think this is the best complete just album of just music that I've heard in a decade. And then it gets nominated for, album of the year, which I don't think anybody saw coming.
That's
Yeah.
how
And I mean,
Jason
like,
Isbell's Southeastern hit me, man. I hit that when I clicked Cover Me Up opens that funny
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned it. Morgan Wallen ended up covering, but front to
He
back.
wants to be.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to
Sand in my
interrupt,
boots
man.
is a good song.
Sorry to interrupt, but hearing you talk about that, and we're talking about the genre. That first time I heard Southeastern, front to back. Oh man, that hit me. So that songwriting just hit me in a way that rock music hasn't hit me in a long time. It's crazy. It's such talented writing in that genre that it's getting its due for sure. But I don't think it's getting the credit it deserves.
Well, I mean, like Tyler Childers is really knocking it out of the park. I mean, he had he produced an album here recently that is literally just a strings album. That's all it is. Like I think it was like him and his family in lockdown just was like, you know what, we're just gonna make a full strings album, and it sounds incredible.
Yeah, it was great. I actually listened to it over lockdown.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's called A Long Violent History.
Yeah, and Sturgill produced his last full-length album, didn't he? There's I felt like a lot of Sturgill.
Yeah. So all of his stuff goes through like High Top Mountain, which is his. Yeah. Yeah,
man. Sturgill's a throwback. Anytime I want to listen to some good old country right now, that makes me feel like like the old stuff did. Sturgill's songwriting and his voice and his guitar playing. Man, I love that dude.
Isn't it great though? Some of the great music we got from 2020, 2021, while we were on lockdown. I think. A lot of these artists they branched out and did a lot of cool things because what else could they do? They couldn't tour. The Killers put out a couple good albums. There's a group right there back 6-7 years ago probably couldn't get arrested. They weren't. I mean, they weren't touring stadiums. And that's come back around, and now they're touring stadiums again, and playing in front of 30,000 people, and it's come back, and it's great to see rock music just get back out there. Whoever it is, you're starting to see people go out, support it, buy the tickets, and I mean I just hope it sticks around. And I hope it's something that's going to keep growing.
It needs to at least stick around long enough for both Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco to release music with live instruments in it again.
Yeah.
I have to agree on that.
Fall Out Boy's got one heck of a drummer. It'd be great to hear him again.
Right. Going off of what you were saying earlier is hearing that dynamic, but that old school feel coming back is just really nice. I've been teaching myself bass, and that's what I've been playing. So it's like I'm playing the new stuff. It's making me feel like it's the old stuff, and it's just nice to kind of feel that attachment and that connection again. And just having that back in music definitely feels good.
Playing that bass is so much about feeling too. You get a different perspective of a song by playing the bass because you literally feel it. You literally feel the rhythm. You literally feel the rhythm of the song in you from the bass. So it's I feel when I play bass, I kind of feel the song a little differently than I do when I'm playing rhythm guitar versus just singing. And
man, I tell you, you talk about a genre just in punk music, not so much like pop punk, but just punk in general. Some of the bassists that we've had, like Mike Dirnt, solid bassist, and I don't think that's a guy that gets a lot of play, but you listen like those early Green Day records, and
that dude doesn't miss a note.
Listen to him,
harmonies
just listen to him and Trey play together. Those two guys are so locked in, man. And you got people like Fat Mike from NoFX, who's probably, in my opinion, probably the best punk bassist to ever live. You got some talented bassists, man. I mean, just I think Tyler will probably, because he's going back and re-listening to the music he missed the last 20 years. He could probably, but he could probably speak. He could probably speak a little bit more on this. But the musicianship, and I did at the time. Now that I'm going back as well, and we're starting to play some of this stuff out. Musicianship was top notch back then. I mean, we just had some really good artists and just really good musicians, and
especially like the one song kind of from that era that we do. When you asked me what are my favorites, I don't know if anybody actually asked me what my favorite kind of stuff to play live was. I kind of just started answering the questions that I wanted to hear, apparently. But
I'm asking.
We play Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus, which is an older song, but. Going back, and I always knew the song. It was popular on the radio when I was younger, but going back and listening to it, and hearing their guitar tones in that song are absurd. And I think they self-produced it in their garage, if I'm not mistaken. Does that sound right? Going back and hearing the production value of some of those guys.
It was a home recording,
quote unquote, didn't know what they were doing. There's been a lot of. Even just production-wise, and that stuff's been really, really cool to listen to, and really, how we layer the guitars and all that stuff. It's been fun to kind of revisit there.
That's how I felt like about Primus. Like anytime I hear Primus, like that's how they sound to me as well.
John sneaking through his house, laughing at us. A drummer extraordinaire sneaking through his own house
I just
so
saw
he don't make too much noise.
Just looked up and saw 10% on the computer.
Oh.
It was like, yo, dude, can you plug it in the
I thought you were getting bored of what I was talking about and trying to text
John,
them on the other end to pull
John,
the plug or something.
Come here real quick. Say hi to everybody. Come here.
Oh, hey.
I want you guys to see the best hair in the band. This guy's hair is absolutely gorgeous. It's very Fabio-esque.
It's like if Scott Stapp
What's
from
the
Creed
secret?
just got behind the kid.
Let's put it this way. He's my brother. He definitely got the looks. And come here, man. Come here.
No, seriously, I know he's not going to be here, you guys, but man, like I told you earlier, I don't want to butter him up too much here, but everybody, John's such a talented musician and a great drummer.
Yeah, the
and
hair.
Such a huge part of what we do, just keeping us all together.
That's what got him the wife.
They got a question
That
for
hair.
you. Here.
The hair.
I don't know
I'll
if they
never
do or
be
not,
able to
but
grow
I'm
that,
sure
but
they
what's
could.
the secret?
What's your hair secret?
John, say hi.
Well, I would say the first part of the secret is probably just poor diet, no exercise.
I can tell you personally that does not work, but
really just devoting most of your mental workload every day to just brushing your hair and staring out a window.
Look at this. Look at this.
Doesn't happen overnight.
It looks great.
Yeah.
pisses
Thank
me
you.
off,
It does.
to be honest with you. But
Thank you.
Is that,
That means a lot.
that's what I was saying before? Is that what got you the wife? Is that kind of how it goes?
I grew it out after I got the wife
I gotcha.
because divorce in Indiana is really difficult. So I timed that really well.
she was at the last straw until he started growing it out. Once it got past his ears, she was back on board.
Yeah, you guys, you can't show all
It
your
was
tricks.
the locks that locked her in.
Yeah, you can't show all your
I'm
tricks up
leaving
front.
unless you look like Dave Grohl.
Yeah. Oh.
He's like, I get a mix of Dave and Taylor.
I forgot Mark can't hear any of this, so he's just sitting between us like at.
We're talking about Foo Fighters,
Taking
and
in
Mark
this
can't
great
hear
man
it.
odor I'm getting from both of these guys. It's like a dream come true.
For context, we're sitting on like a bench.
Yeah.
We're actually.
Well,
not
we should have
even-
been doing this the whole time, like you
Yeah.
two
We're
talk
sitting
and then
Indian
him
style,
talk, but not know what we're talking about.
You didn't want to tell anybody?
Yeah,
I think
no,
crisscross
he-
applesauce is appropriate in 2022, sir.
Yeah, we're finally talking Foo Fighters, and Mark can't hear it. So
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good. Because, I love them.
that's okay.
I do.
Well, thanks,
dig y'all.
guys. Thanks for
Thanks
talking
for
about
hopping
my
on,
hair.
John. Somebody it's probably a good.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
To break
Say
the
bye,
Mark
John.
and Tyler.
Nice meeting
monotony
you.
for a moment.
Nice meeting you guys. Thank you very much. I'll turn
Thank
it over.
you.
I mean, you guys can probably see why we don't put him in front of a camera, because we would probably get fired. Yeah. So
If I sit him back there behind that drum kit, as long as I block him out, I just look a lot better not sitting there next to him.
and he's married, and it's not fair to the women in the crowd, So we kind of keep him kind of buried in the back, So, but
So there's no naked drumming over here.
no,
Not while we're here anyway.
not while we're
Nothing.
here. Yeah.
Nothing
we
on the chat episode.
rehearse at their home, so I can't tell you what happens behind closed doors, but I can tell you for a fact when I've been here, all clothing has been worn.
Nice.
The next
Nice.
album, Stereobella, Rumors 2.
Yeah.
I see it now.
Well, see,
See it now.
well, speaking of that, I know you'd kind of given us a little bit of to kind of bring it around here. The name, like, where'd you guys come up with the name? It's very interesting. Like, when he told me that, I was like, where did you come up with that?
I wish John was on mic for this one.
Get it back.
I don't know. Should I tell the real story or not?
Yes.
Can we call it time? There's no way anyone
There's no
involved
way.
will be listening to this.
I won't name
All
any
the
names.
deets.
I won't even
All
name the
the
background
deets.
of this, but there was a performance of some sort. Let's put it that way. And there was siblings in a band together. And this sounds so bad.
I'll tell the story. I wasn't there, so it's not bad.
I can tell the story. I have a Chihuahua named Bella, so we'll start with that.
Aw.
And Bella makes some really interesting sounds.
She's a
when
howler.
I mean, it's kind of like I don't know how we'll delete that. But anyways, so that's the kind of sound that she
fixed in
makes.
post.
Well, I'm watching this band, and there's these two girl singers, and I won't name the city, I won't name the state, because I don't want to get in trouble for this, but they both kind of sounded like my Chihuahuas when they sang.
So it wasn't.
So I was laughing because like they weren't always singing together. Like they do like one song, and then finally they had a song where they were both singing. So I was like, my God, we went from Monobella to Stereobella because they were just like doing this like Yoko Ono type screech. And I'm not even saying it was bad. I was kind of like, and I was kind of taken away by it. Like, wow, that's so different. Not off key or terrible or anything. It's
got a good ring to it.
Very Chihuahua sounding. So
I don't think that was their desired sound either.
I don't think so, but man, they nailed it. So I just kind of made a joke like to the family, like, man, I was like listening to Bella, but in stereo. So then I was like, Stereobella, band name, called it. I mean, basically, I was like, that'd be cool, if I ever get another band going again. So when we got back together, in the studio, I said, we need a name for the project because we used to call it Animal Jam.
Oh no!
Back in the day, and because we were like, yeah, Animal Jam. It's really stupid, and people were going to be like, yeah, they're animals that jam, right? And then we found out that it's some kind of so
that would be the rudimentary math.
This is why
between
some
those two
things
words,
take
probably.
time, right? So this is why we took 8 years to get back together. But then we found out that Animal Jam was like some stupid online game that it's like a kid's game that's played online, and there's a lot of pedophilia in it, I guess. It got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there was a lot of like targeted
Very
harassment
weird.
in that community.
Kinda like the
so
horse
we're like, we gotta separate. We gotta separate.
Very,
from that
very
fantasy.
odd
Cut all
place.
ties.
So it's called Animal Jam. I was like, nah, we're
Man,
not going by that anymore.
The darkest part
Ixnay
of all
on the
time
name,
is before
Dark
we
web.
put out our third single we released, Pretty Ugly. We had written that song a long time, and it's taken a few different what's the word I'm looking for? There's been a few different versions of it before we settled on the one we really liked. But if you typed in at the time Animal Jam, Pretty Ugly, there was this horrible self-written song over footage from the Animal Jam game.
Yep.
And it was the creepiest thing I've seen. There was no escaping that name or that song title or any of that.
Yeah.
So we had to distance immediately.
So I said,
Well, I'm
Tyler,
glad you did.
Yeah, I was like, Tyler, I got this name, man. It has my Chihuahua's name in it, so you got to kind of look past that. But I was like, Stereobella, and he's like,
I think my only note was we take it from 2 words to 1 word, and I'm in.
yeah, and I was like, it's kind of like Belladonna, like something kind of cool like that. It's the word Bella is whatever, but so yeah, it kind of stuck. It kind of fits too because we're not just 4 stinky dudes in a band. We actually got a nice female in the band who showers. So Stereobella kind of fit. It's kind of cool. It's a good look for us, and it looks good on a t-shirt. So I'll die on that hill.
Beautiful.
That's the story.
Nice.
I'd-
Well, that's probably the most detailed backstory that I've ever heard, but I think it's a magnificent way to figure it out. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
It's like
Chihuahua?
what's Chris Pratt character's name in Parks and Rec? Why don't I remember?
Andy.
Andy.
New
Andy.
band name, called it.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Basically, how it happened.
As soon as I said, I was like, Stereobella, that looked
What
pretty
was
cool.
the Fleetwood Mac one of his?
Fleetwood Mac Sex Pants.
Called it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, guys, like I know you've got some stuff coming up this weekend as far as events are concerned. What do you guys have going on as far as like the next couple of months? Do you guys have like some stuff set out far away? Let everybody know what you guys got going on so they know where to go and check you guys out.
Yeah, I definitely told myself I was going to have these dates pulled up on my phone, but that was before the half an hour.
That's what iPhones are for, right?
I was going to say that was before the half an hour I kept you guys waiting trying to figure out the audio.
we're playing this weekend at Show Me's on the 26th, Terre Haute Show Me's.
Show me.
And then, our next date after that, it's actually going to be on St. Patrick's Day. We're playing at Charlie's Pub and Grub. We will be the evening entertainment.
Shutting her down.
Yeah, during the day there will be our good buddy Soup Bone and his band. Very awesome blues influenced band with Soup Bone on his harp, who plays the harmonica like an animal.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
He's an incredible singer too. So he'll be playing during the day, I think at 4:00, and then we'll be going on, I think at either somewhere around 7 or 8 o'clock, sometime after that. But it's gonna be an awesome day. So I'm telling everybody to take PTO day. Don't go to work. Go to Charlie's.
Not to mention there's plenty
Get a
of
Tweety
TVs.
Burger and hang out with us.
Yeah, watch them. That's the first round of March Madness games too. So
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
That is
Zach.
Zach.
We're looking forward to
first
be a
round in
good
Indy
time.
actually, but we'll be in Terre Haute watching and playing some music for
Let
everybody.
me know when you guys are in Louisville, and I'll come see you.
Yeah, we'd love to get over that way.
I would
eventually.
love to get to Indianapolis, but good Lord, nobody can even return an email in that city for some reason.
Yeah, and then we got a few more dates, and we got a date in April, I think, with Charlie's again on the 30th, playing a Saturday. And then we will be playing our first time at the Terre Haute Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah,
in
really
May.
excited about the brewing company. It's a
Yeah,
great spot.
On
Nice.
the May 14th, Saturday. That's such a cool building. I've never played there, before. I've been there for some shows, so we're very excited to get in there. Another avenue to play around Terre Haute. And then we're working on some stuff like Tyler mentioned before. There's some other bigger shows where we're more of a support act that we're hoping to get on and go from there. And we'll be putting the deets out as they happen and whatnot. But we'll be doing a lot of recording too. We're wanting to get our album done this year that we've been talking about for 2 years.
Chinese democracy is what his dad keeps calling it.
Yeah,
the Guns N'
it's,
Roses album.
we're giving Axl Rose a run for his money. But yeah, no, it's going to be called Hip Musicians and Their Complicated Shoes.
Which is just a Seinfeld,
which is-
George Costanza reference that we fell upon one time.
And yeah, so that'll be coming out. I'm going to say probably in the fall. I think it's going to be either...
Send me a link.
Yeah,
over
it's
here.
either going to be a 6 or 7 song, probably EP. And then, we're excited to get that out too.
And actually here, if
Nice.
this doesn't happen, this is probably at a point we can cut it out if it doesn't happen. But, man, there's a possibility maybe of getting that new single back soon. So maybe we could send you guys a mastered copy if we get that back soon. What do you think? I don't want to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, hopefully we get that back soon. Yeah, we'll forward it on to you guys, and I don't know if you guys have time to fit it in with what you're doing tonight, but we'll forward it to you.
Maybe work out a single debut with your show here.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe we can find another time to do that, or if you guys want to include it
For
with
sure.
this,
Yeah,
but
that would be great.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and it should be getting it either late tonight or sometime tomorrow. So we're waiting to hear
Nice.
back. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, go ahead and
Yeah, absolutely.
go ahead and plug some stuff here. What do you guys, social media use? People to follow you.
Yeah.
Where can we find you?
All right. Well, we're on Facebook. You just Stereobella, Facebook, Instagram, same thing, Stereobella. It's all one word. So if you guys are listening to this and wondering how on earth do you spell that, it's just Stereobella, one word. We are on TikTok. That's a fun one. And we're on Twitter. We're probably not as present on Twitter as we are Instagram, Facebook.
I am taking a new commitment to our Twitter. I've decided. Instagram's pretty popping there. Facebook's where we share a lot, just because of the ease of sharing videos and music and everything there.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I'm working on a Twitter presence. I've got a new dedication to social media
Twitter
today.
tweet.
Our first 3 singles we put out are all on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, anywhere you guys can get digital music. So if you guys want to check us out on there, you can hear what we've done the last couple of years, and then of course the new single when it's dropping will be on those platforms as well too.
Nice. Nice. So one thing I always do before we go anywhere, at the end of the day, it's all about sharing music and its importance to you. From both of you, what is one song, if you could recommend to somebody to listen, doesn't matter to the genre, what's one song that you could recommend? Whew.
This is the first time Mark hasn't tried to talk first.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh gosh, that's a tough one.
I was gonna say like a Virgin from Madonna, but I don't know. I might rethink that one tomorrow.
Don't hate on Madonna, dude.
It's actually the opposite.
It's the answer I should say is go listen to My Reality, I Don't Know, and Pretty Ugly by Stereobella would be my 3 recommendations.
Yes.
But
Yes.
for me,
Links
let's
will be in the
go
description.
something. I talked too much Jason Isbell, but I'll do it anyway. Go listen to let's do Decoration Day by Drive By Truckers is one when he was with the group. It's one of, I think, in my opinion, and I have I won't say it's the best. I don't like using the term best, but as far as songs, it's one of my favorite pieces of songwriting. It's kind of a Hatfield versus McCoy's kind of story, but it actually involves some people that he was distantly related to. So he wrote it from. You just have to go listen to it. It's like almost like a I guess the Hatfield McCoys is the best like that crazy period then. So it's a great listen. Honestly, anything by that man, that guy is. My brother turned me on to him years ago, and I didn't mean to come on here and only talk about Jason Isbell and Bruno Mars for some reason. But
Man's got
if I had to pick
priorities.
one, I'm going Decoration Day. Check that out. What do you got, Mark? You've been digging?
I had to dig through my phone a little bit. To me,
Sorry.
it's hard to narrow it down to one song, but I'm a real big Neil Young fan. And I know there's people are on one side or the other right now, but to me, he's always been an artist since around when I was in college. I really got into him heavy, and Heart of Gold to me is just one of the most. I don't know. It's one of the best written songs I think I've ever listened to, and just about everything from his catalog, I found a way to relate to in my life, and I always tell people, listen to old Neil Young. You learn a little bit from him, and that would be kind of, if I had to pick just an artist and maybe a song to go with, that'd be something for sure. Or just the Black Album from Metallica. So yeah.
Or the Black Album from
There you
Jay-Z. Or the Black Album. See, that's where we go here. Two Black Albums, two
Or
different
the
guys
Black
here.
Album from Weezer. What? Never mind.
Could do it.
Pinkerton. That'd be a good album though. I like Pinkerton. So. They did some albums after that, right? Pinkerton. Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I want to say thank you, Mark, Ty. Thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
Two of the amazing artists from the great group Stereobella. Thank you for coming on to the show and joining us. Check out their events. Check out their music on Spotify, Apple Music, and hopefully we can be on the lookout for possibly a debut of this next single.
That sounds
If all goes
maybe,
well.
maybe I shouldn't spitball our plans on the air, but that sounds pretty good to me, Mark.
Yeah. Well, man.
No,
Why
thank
not?
you. Hey, thank both of you guys
We'll
so
never
much for having us. I really am. I've subscribed to your show. I listened to it. I love the Super Bowl breakdown. I just listened to the halftime show breakdown. Kind of missed the Modest Mouse record behind you there, Zach. But yeah, I love what you do. So
I had to clean the room.
Yeah, it means a lot to me that you guys had us on here. As you can tell, anytime we have an opportunity to get in front of a microphone and have a captive audience of two to listen to us, we'll go on and on as long as we can. So sorry if we were a little long-winded, but man, thank you guys once again so much. We really
thanks, guys.
appreciate you
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully we'll have you guys again soon. Hopefully I'll go try to get out there on St. Patrick's Day and check you guys out at Charlie's. A Tweety Burger sounds amazing right about now. And that's Kelly's birthday, and she loves Charlie, so I have a reason to get her
Well, there
there.
you
Happy
go.
birthday,
So,
Get the best burger in town. Why not? All right.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael with Zach, Ty, Mark. This is the Scales of Music podcast. We'll catch you later. See you next time.
See ya.
Peace.
See you guys.